Capricorn, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements to see what messages are there for you. And also, if you're interested in a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. All right, my friends, let's get started. For Capricorn, what is the current energy around Capricorn? Sun, Moon, and Rising. Capricorn. Okay, let's see. Capricorn. Okay, bottom of the deck is bittersweet, and I can see why as I look at these other cards. The first card that came out for you is Discovery. So this is a root chakra card. So I feel like you're discovering something essential about yourself, your identity, your security, your belonging, how you ground into the present moment and into yourself here on earth. You are discovering something about yourself. Okay, this is self-discovery, and it's coming at a time where you must release something, Capricorn. You may want to listen to the Sagittarius reading as well. This could be bittersweet in the sense that it's a time of really releasing things that you've been hanging on to for a long time. And the card that follows it was Creation. And so this is a time of self-discovery and release so that you can create something. Okay, there's something that you will be creating. You're tapping into that creative divine connection. There's something coming through the crown chakra here for release and creation that may feel bittersweet, because I feel like you're actually going to discover a part of yourself, and you may have to surrender, release, or stop associating with this old energy that you've been holding on to. So it may feel a little bittersweet, because as you shift, things around you may shift. And we'll get to that bittersweet part in a second. This is the enlightenment. This is going to help your personal power center. This is going to grow your confidence. You're going to understand yourself on a much deeper level. Now, the bittersweet part here is this gossip energy. Okay, so where's this coming from? I feel like as you shift and release and become enlightened about this self-discovery and release things around yourself that no longer resonate, or you just understand why certain things have sort of vibrated away from you, there may be some gossip. There may be some discussions about you. There may be people going, gosh, Did you see Capricorn the other day and what they were talking about? Wow, they've really changed, or I feel like I don't know them anymore. That kind of stuff may come to the surface. And that may be the bittersweet part, is that you may have to be okay with parts of your past that have been carried into your present being released, and that you may not get, how can I phrase this? I was going to say you may not get a positive reaction from those around you. But what I kind of want to move that into is this idea that that's why it's bittersweet, because there's a part of you that may become sort of in a state of moving from ego to heart. There may be sort of this moment in time where you feel like, in limbo a little bit. And that gossip card tells me that it may be a bittersweet time for you, because there may be things that get released out of your life. And there may be some talk about that amongst the folks in your life currently, or there may just be this sort of like energy that is around you or about you that is like creates that bittersweet energy. Because I think a lot of this is going to be very sweet in the sense that you're discovering yourself. You're going to be working with a very creative energy here through your divine connection. I think you're going to be understanding and becoming enlightened on things that make you feel very confident about what you're going to create and who you are. That's happening, Capricorn. And you know, there's a lot of astrological things happening in March that sort of fit with this. So there'll be some readings on those things as well, like Pluto moving into Aquarius. And so Pluto's been hanging out in Capricorn for like the last 30 years. So you're going to be releasing some things here. They're shifting. But you know, when things leave, sometimes our ego, again, we're moving from ego to heart, right? So sometimes the ego might interpret this as a bit bittersweet because there's a lot of stuff that's going to shift for you in March, Capricorn. And Pluto moving into Aquarius is going to be a big part of that. And Saturn's moving as well. So it's going to be an interesting month. There'll be some readings on that. I won't dwell on that here. But this makes sense. This really does make sense. And as I cut the deck, I see the Two of Pentacles and the Four of Wands, which tells me that your path towards inner success and inner rewards and inner fulfillment is, you're about to cross that finish line. But you know what? There's that bittersweet energy of the Two of Pentacles. There's things that you will have to release, bottom line. And I think those things that you have to release are things that you may be aware of already or not. We'll see. You'll have to decide. But it's interesting. There could be people talking about you, Capricorn. There could be people talking about you behind your back. So you almost have to release that as well. Who cares? Right? You're going to have to release that as well. Let's see here. What is the energy around Capricorn? Yeah. There's the Eight of Pentacles. So you are becoming a master here. You are discovering where you're a master. You're discovering so much about yourself. And it's all very enlightening. But there's the Queen of Rods. So there could be people around you that start talking smack about you a little bit. But that's okay, because that's a reflection of stuff they have to do and stuff they're working on. So try to just extend that idea of, this isn't my circus, not my circus, not my monkeys, when this energy peaks up with that gossip. And it may cause a bittersweetness in how you sort of feel, and I feel like you're going to experience that in your throat chakra. There may be a part of you that wants to say something, but I would almost resist that, because it's not your it's not your circus, not your monkeys. You know what I mean? That's their monkeys. So I hope that expression makes sense. But you're going to be getting busy, Capricorn. Eight of Pentacles. You're going to discover exactly where you need to put your focus, energy, money, resources, all of that material. That material part of you is going to know exactly where it needs to focus and what it needs to get busy doing. And I feel like you're going to feel like you understand yourself on a much greater level. And yes, there's a Queen of Rods there in reverse. I feel like that's the gossip energy that may surround you. There may be people that just don't understand what's happened with Capricorn and why is Capricorn like this now, and get defensive. You may trigger people with how you sort of understand yourself. It could trigger the people and around you that know you as a certain Capricorn. They know you, and again, Pluto, right? It's been sitting in Capricorn for 30 years and it's moving into Aquarius. So it's like that movement is going to change you. You're going to be, there's going to be changes. I can't talk about it right now because I could just talk about it for hours, but there's going to be some significant changes in how your energy feels when that movement, it's already like moving, you know? And yeah, I think that March is going to be a very interesting month of transformation for Capricorn. And the people that have been in your life for the last 30 years are going to notice a different Capricorn, and some of them may be discussing you behind your back or to your face in a way that is bittersweet, because you're happy with the changes, but you're going to have to be okay with, you know, you don't have to be okay with it. It's almost like you just surrender it. Like it's not part of your energy. You know what I mean? How other people feel about you. But I think there's going to be some people that are very drawn to you because you're tuning into your higher self. And there's the High Priestess. So the sky's the limit with the High Priestess. You're going to understand so much about yourself that I feel like that will be where your focus is, and to not really be too distracted by what the folks around you are thinking or feeling about you, because that's for them to work out, right? Because it's coming from within them, and you're focusing on what's coming from within you. And I think you're really trusting it. You're really trusting it, and you're listening to it, and you're moving from ego to heart. And look at that. We see a whole pile of cards coming out for you, which is interesting. I feel like this whole pile of cards is coming out to show us the Death card for sure, because it's on the top. So there's your transformation. Page of Cups. There's that rebirth. And I feel like it's happening on an emotional level, this rebirth. You're really starting to understand yourself in a different way. Enlightenment, rebirth. This is a transformation, and it's happening, and it's changing things, right? It's transforming things from one way into a new way. And it's all happening from within you, these discoveries, these enlightenments. There are consequences to changing. There always are, right? Everything is cause and effect. And so as you change, there is this idea, again, of that gossip and bittersweet card coming through here now in the Eight of Swords, where you may be, as you're getting to work and focusing on this creation, this discovery, this enlightenment, there may be a part of you that's like, but what if I lose all my friends, right? Or what if my family decides that they don't want to be involved with me anymore? Or what if? There may be consequences dwelling in your mind that are creating fear or creating resistance. But I feel like there's so much transformative energy around you that you're going to either release this with everything else that you're going to release, or you could sort of bounce around between focus, resistance, focus, resistance, focus, resistance, depending on how much this idea of the external world responding to you gets your attention. That's going to depend. But ultimately, it's all going to change. This is going to be wild, Capricorn. March is going to be a very interesting month. And there may be things that you have to sort of release judgment on. There's the Justice in reverse. So you may have to step into the role of observer. That will be your saving grace, is stepping into the role of observer instead of the role of judge. Because if you start to judge this, then you're going to start bouncing back and forth between focus and resistance. But I feel like if you can step into the role of observer and surrender, trust, and release, then your pathway into this enlightenment of self-discovery will have less ping pong effects where you're going back and forth. And going back and forth, again, you're stepping into the role of observer. So there is no judgment of right or wrong. It is what it is. And you're sort of, I think you're really moving into that. You're moving into that, but there's going to be some consequences in the sense of things shifting around you, because as you shift, the external reality responds to that shift and things around you shift. So hold on to your hats, Capricorn, because this is going to be some wild stuff. Seeing on the bottom of the deck, the Ten of Wands in reverse. So you're done holding these wands, and you are letting them slide right out of your grip, and then you're focusing on your own journey. Like, you're not going to be sacrificing. There may have been a part of you that was overly concerned with healing others or changing others, and I feel like you're going to let that go, and you're going to focus on yourself, because ultimately, who's responsible for their own healing? Everyone. We're all responsible for our own healing. And the idea of trying to heal another person or to change or another person, that almost interferes with their transformative process. You know what I mean? Giving someone love and holding space for them and not judging where they're at. And again, just stepping into the role of observer can be enough to show your love. You don't have to fix anyone or transform anyone. That is actually coming from a place of guilt and fear that could be related to some past lives that you're feeling like in order to make up for past indiscretions, you must hold these wands for others. You know what I mean? Instead of just holding space and giving love without judgment, love from the place of an observer. That's true compassion. You don't care why, you just offer love. You know, you don't care why. You see the truth behind actions, that even some of the most horrific actions that you can think of, that still comes from a place of fear. That the true name of that action is fear. The true name is fear. And it's interesting when you can see that, that you can get to a place where you release judgment, because then you can see things differently that way. You no longer look at the action and judge it as being good or bad. When you step into the role of observer, you understand that you can only see the surface of the experience of the victim or the perpetrator. You can't actually see anything but what's on the surface of that experience. And so this is very interesting. I really feel like you're moving into this space of enlightenment where you're becoming the observer. You're becoming the observer, and as a result, you're releasing a lot of this people pleasing. You're releasing this feeling that you have to sacrifice for others, and it's interesting. I feel like it's very liberating for you, but it's also going to change your external environment quite a bit. I think it's the changes you make within are shifting what's happening around you. So very interesting reading, Capricorn. I had a feeling that the readings coming up in March were going to be very transformative, and that has definitely been the case. Let's clarify this initial chunk here. Okay. So yeah, there's the Seven of Pentacles coming out. So that's where you're sort of examining things. The Star card is showing me that you're working on healing things for yourself. You're shifting that focus. There's the Page of Swords. So you're sort of using your mind in a different way. You instead of using it to sort of create more narratives out of fear, I feel like you've stopped. You're actually very mindfully now standing in the middle of this path and choosing your conscious efforts and thoughts in a different way. You've stopped operating in an automatic way. You're very mindful right now, and you're making choices about each step you take forward, because I feel like there's a part of you that is trusting. You're trusting in a different way than you used to. And it's very healing. It's bringing in a lot of healing for the self. And bottom of the deck, we're seeing the Fool. So it's like you're ready to take this first step into this new way of being the observer and trusting. And I feel like this is confirming that idea that you're moving from ego to heart. Chariot in reverse. So there's that element of resistance coming through. And also this is showing me that you've sort of understood that doing things from will only, from using willpower, is a form of motivating yourself through fear and judgment. That when we use willpower to do things instead of sort of our heart to guide us, that can be a time where we are actually being motivated by fear and judgment because we've created a category that says successful, not successful, good, bad, positive, negative. And of course we're trying to strive for the bucket over here where it's good, it's positive, and it's successful. And if we take a step back, we judge ourselves as being unsuccessful, bad, and negative. And so then you get caught in that ping pong again. And so I feel like we're seeing the Chariot here in reverse to say, be the observer. Don't judge the experience. Just move with it. Move with the energy of the experience and move from the heart, not the ego. You know, it's very interesting. And look, 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. As I say that, just like this 10 of Wands, where you're shifting out of a will motivated movement and you're trusting what's in your heart. Let's clarify these cards. There's the Page of Cups. So interesting when you get the same cards all the time. It's just really it's very confirming. So seeing this Page of Cups come through here tells me that this transformation is going to be one where there's signs all around you already. And this Page of Cups is guiding us into the heart space. And so seeing the Page of Cups comes through again. And as I look at the rest of these cards, it's so interesting. There's the Tower, there's the Eight of Pentacles, there's the Eight of Swords. It's the same cards. It's the same cards that you have in your reading already. And the 10 of Wands has remained on the bottom. And so it's very interesting. You are no longer holding these for, you're no longer sitting in a space that says, I'm only worthy if I can please other people. I think you've surrendered that. And that is a significant change. You may have been holding that for 30 years, Capricorn. For the last 30 years, you may have convinced yourself that your self-worth is based on how much people love you, not how much you love yourself and accept yourself. And I think you're done. I think that you're done with that. And it's going to shift things around you. Is it going to be bittersweet? Maybe for the people around you. Yeah. But ultimately, I feel like you're going to know where you need to move forward on things and shift and change how you do things. I feel like you're going to know all of this by tuning into yourself without judgment as an observer. Does Capricorn need to surrender or surrender to? Anything else? Okay. All right, so this is very consistent. We're seeing here the idea of surrendering to effortlessness. The law of effortlessness is very much about going with the flow and not trying to force things with your will, not trying to control the external reality with your will, but rather knowing that when we stop pushing so hard and we go with the flow, the art of living starts to feel more like surrender. It's very interesting. The card says here, stop pushing so hard, go with the flow instead of trying to force the river. So that's what I mean when I say that seeing the Chariot in reverse to me tells me that you're starting to move away from forcing things into place with your will. You're not coming to the perspective that you're using fear to motivate yourself with your will. You're not forcing things into place. You're letting things fall into place. And I think that level of surrender is allowing you to surrender a lot of stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. The bottom of the deck is saying here to you, surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power and let others, and I feel like opportunities, come to you. I feel like right now you're being guided to discover yourself and to not focus on your will to force things. Don't let your mind convince you of fear, which triggers the will to go we have to act now. And then we start to act based on fear and, judgment. And that creates a lot of stress. And I think as this reading is sort of guiding you to release things like that, it feels like you're going to know so much more. The answers are going to come through your heart, though. It's not going to come through your mind or your will. It's going to come through that heart center. You're moving into that heart space, and that will be your guide. It's such an interesting reading. Thank you so much for joining me, Capricorn. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sending you so much love and light, my friends, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Take care.